It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast, North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza, where it is a Thursday. We're going to be giving away 22 pizzas in this live stream. Somebody's going to get 12, and then we're going to hand out 10 individual pies. How cool is that? But in the meantime, we got to talk about what's the big topic. It's the busy Atlantic Ocean. Question is, what to expect next? And I'm going to kind of highlight for you in the next 20, 30 minutes or more of what you could expect in terms of Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina. Clearly, we have a crowded playing field. Gabrielle, now a post-tropical storm, likely to hit the Azores tonight into Friday. Umberto, likely to become a hurricane tomorrow. And we probably will see Imelda form, where you see a 90% chance over the Bahamas. That could form also and get a name likely tomorrow. Lows this morning actually hit 72. That occurred at 7:10 a.m. And we had a high temperature, wouldn't you know it? You said 90. I know, we hit 92. I said probably wouldn't be surprised if we hit 90 and 91, and we hit 92. But not everybody hit 92. I mean, let's be fair. It was 90 in Virginia Beach. It was 90 in Hampton. It was 90 in Suffolk. But 92 did occur at 4:03 this afternoon. And you look at the averages so far, and this is probably much the last of it's summer's farewell tour, right? You bought into those tickets and concerts. It's my farewell tour. Summer had 33 days in 2025. And we typically see about 36 based on the 30-year averages supplied to us by the National Weather Service in Wakefield. I want to say good hi and hello to everybody who's watching. I got a note from Donna. She wants to say hello, enjoy. We're excited about the pizza given away. I'm going to do that at the top of the hour so you're not in the dark, so you know when it's going to happen. Also wanted to say hello to some of the comments that came in after I was done streaming. I got a note from Katrina. She's one of our great WTKR photographers, Katrina Gay. Marco's is amazing because they're giving away free pizza. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. And if you're not sure how to play this game, it's real easy. It's random. It's completely randomized, but there are 5 convenient locations that we participate with. And you can go to Marco's anywhere in Hampton Roads or Tidewater. That's easy. Go to marcos.com. But if you want to participate, get some free pizza, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. It takes just a minute or two to sign up. And once you sign up once, you don't have to redo it over and over again. But there are 3 in Virginia Beach with the 757 phone number. There's 1 in Chesapeake, soon to be 2, and 1 in Norfolk on Hampton Boulevard. I encourage you to check it out because if you win tonight, and your name may be on the list, you're going to get one of these cool certificates. So that would be like free pizza for 12 months, starting with September. October works like a punch card, where you, the recipient, would get 1 large, 1 topping pizza monthly for free. And I'm excited about this week's winner as I have it now entered into my computer. But even if you don't win, you could get half off. I mean, half off or 100% off, that's pretty sweet. All you have to do is use the promo code WTKR50. First Warning Live viewers are privy to the deal of the week, and this week it happens to be half off anything you order at marcos.com. All right, back to the maps we go. I mentioned 33 days. That was this, I guess it's a big deal because typically the last time we see 90 in September is around the 10th, between the 8th and 10th. Depends on if you look at the last 30 years or since the records have been kept. 10th, 8th of September. But today's the 25th. So the fact that we've now had 4, count them 4 in September, that gives us the 33 in 2025. Now, big story, of course, is Neptune. I don't want to leave this out. This is a big deal. We have sand sculpting. We've got people from all over the world going to be putting that on display, going to be excited about this particular festival. This is the 51st Neptune Festival, but I can't sugarcoat it. I mean, 70% chance of rain, 70% chance of rain, 60. But what I don't want you to take away from this is it's a washout. It's not. It's not. In fact, on Saturday, it may be dry in the morning and then starts to fill in the afternoon. You just have to be flexible with your plans. It is going to be one of the situations we have a cold front coming into town and it stalls. And so this is the byproduct. We get temperatures in the 70s, no more 80s, no more 90s for the weekend. We'll be in the 80s tomorrow, but it's going to be a gradual drop from there. And the headlines really spell this out pretty clearly. You can see rain returns with an unsettled end to the week. We did hit 92 in Norfolk, but we'll be back in the 70s this weekend. And did I mention, yes, it's a busy Atlantic. We have Umberto and soon to be Imelda. Now, here's some big news. right around 4:30 this afternoon, right before 4:30, we had a severe thunderstorm. We had a severe thunderstorm that affected Isle of Wight, not far from Smithfield, and it moved into Newport News and Hampton, and eventually worked over, kind of faded away in Northampton County around Cape Charles with just some pesky showers. But I do want to show you there was one local storm report right here. I'll circle it. This occurred and actually caused one injury. Did you know somebody got hurt today? That's not what anybody wants to hear or have to message, but this is true. A tree fell on a UPS truck near the intersection of Blunt's Corner Road and Days Point Road. The time is estimated from the radar. So not a good scene when especially someone's trying to work hard and going, okay, I just got one more delivery. I got 2 more deliveries. Let me just get this out there. And then a tree falls on your truck. My heart breaks for this individual, and again, anyone who's involved. We hope that there is a speedy recovery. But that was what happened. We've had essentially one severe thunderstorm warning so far today. We said it would be isolated. It was pretty isolated. It didn't affect Duck. It didn't affect Elizabeth City. Really didn't even affect downtown Norfolk or Virginia Beach, but that could change later tonight. We could still get some storms coming in from Roanoke, and that could also occur at 2 or 3 in the morning, where some of the storms might have a little bit of a punch. But it's this cold front that we're watching that's going to be coming in as we slide into the weekend and eventually stalling. I'm just checking in with the comments. I know I've got some of you online, and if you have a question, I'll do my best to answer it. I don't have all the answers all the time. Clearly, tropics can change on a dime. But I do want to mention to you, if you're on the call, just say hi to you. I got some notes that are popping in right now, and I'll say hi to the most recent ones here. I got Kim Thompson Jones saying hello and welcome. She wants to say hi to everybody. Hello and welcome to all those who are watching. If you're just joining us, in about 14 minutes, I'm going to have the winners. The 22 pizzas are going to be flying out in certificate form for you if you won some free pizza. We do keep those names. We like to keep it interesting because, again, giving back to the community. That's what they're all about. I got a note from Joe. Welcome. Let's welcome Joe. Joe's new. She says new to the area. And I like the fact that it's fall, y'all. So, hey, Joe, welcome. Welcome, and I hope you find the Neptune Festival. If you're just visiting now and you're here for good, don't know your circumstances, but we're glad you're here. The weather could probably be better, but we got to take what we can get. It's what we have been dealt, which is an approaching cold front that's coming in. Let's go back to the maps. As I've already highlighted, there is that risk. I mean, this goes right through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So this is a severe threat that's level 1. That's going to carry us into daybreak. So this covers essentially Sussex, Surrey County, parts of Isle of Wight, parts of Southampton, but it does not include Norfolk, and it does not include Chesapeake or Virginia Beach. Do you see what I'm saying? This was a modification the Storm Prediction Center made when they saw how slow this front was advancing. They said, we'll just keep these areas green and these areas not green. So if you're in Edenton, you're fine. I'm not to say you couldn't get a shower in the overnight, but most of it's going to be over here where there could be possibly some of the ingredients I've posted here, which is damaging wind, isolated, some flooding potential. I think the tornado formation is next to 0 and large hail also pretty low. But wind damage, I mean, a tree fell down on a UPS truck, folks. I mean, that's how more isolated could you get than that? That didn't happen to all the UPS trucks, just this one near Smithfield. So please be extra careful anytime storms start to darken the clouds this weekend because it's going to rain hard at times, I think even going into next week. Rain chances, clearly not a message that I enjoy telling you. 60% tomorrow, 70% stalled system, and then if we get impacted with what's soon to be Imelda, it's going to probably, based on today's data, be around Tuesday, Wednesday for its greatest impact. I'm just checking some comments. I want to say hi to you. I know that it is now 7:48. We're 12 minutes away from some pizza. Just want to say hi to you. I said hello to Joe. I said hi to Kim. Oh, and I got Joseph Green, who's also a big fan of Barco's. I love it. Their pizza's good. I mean, if you've never even tried it, I mean, you look about all the other options because, you know, life's too short to eat bad pizza. That's my philosophy. I love Marco's. I love their Pizzoli. I talk about that all the time. It's a great lunch item, but I digress. Let's get back to the weather because I know we'll have time for pizza. If you are going to the beach tomorrow, some people are off Friday, and you know it's going to be probably partly sunny, right? It's maybe mostly cloudy AM, and then the hazy sun pops out, and then it gets cloudier. There's a 60% chance of rain tomorrow, but I thought I'd throw it out there. There's a low rip current risk tomorrow, and the surf height's 2 to 3 feet. Now, we have 2 storms. One on the left hasn't gotten a name yet. The one on the right is Umberto. And so this one out here is Gabrielle, now a post-tropical cyclone with winds around 70. We're not going to focus on that storm as much as these two and how they may interact or not interact. And I really want to emphasize, if you're kind of even new or just kind of fancy, you're pretty weather savvy, there's these situations with model data, especially in this type of environment, where things can change very rapidly. Whereas the outcome where you think it's going this way decides it goes that way. We show you this oftentimes in these spaghetti models, spaghetti plots, which I'll show you, and how vastly different they can change from day to day, much less in the here and now. So let me go back to this map as I want to show you the tropical activity. Again, if you're just joining us, Gabrielle in the upper right, not worried about that. Umberto is soon to be a hurricane, likely tomorrow, according to the National Hurricane Center, and the 90% could very well be Imelda. But this has winds of 60. This is the latest track. We'll get another update at 11 o'clock tonight, but you can clearly see there is an island in here named as Bermuda and likely to pass to the west of Bermuda. Gabrielle went to the east of Bermuda. So while they might take a similar track, this has the potential to become a major hurricane. That's category 3 or higher as we move into Sunday and Monday. If that were to pass, I just wanted to show you all the given examples of where most of the models take it long term. It takes it out to sea, right? You could say, well, David, you're forgetting this one that hits North Carolina and goes into Kentucky and then Missouri. Yeah, I could probably ignore that one, all right? I'm not saying there's not a possibility. I'm not saying that possibility is not there, but most of them want to curve it back out for Umberto. All right, so how these two storms may interact, we're going to look at with a trivia question here in a moment. But this is what we call Invest 94L. L meaning it's in the Atlantic, and this is where it gets challenging, right? I believe it was one of the forecasters, meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Morehead City, said this is like chaotic motion, right? When you're a pinball hitting Cuba and the islands in the Bahamas, ding, 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 can you really say with high confidence that it's not going to influence, affect, or perhaps change course? It can, which is why I say I invite you to check back with us as we head into the weekend and beyond the week, because our entire WTKR First Warning Weather team is on this very, very closely. And you can see by just looking at today's model runs, pick one. Oh, is it going to Atlanta? Maybe. Maybe it's going back out to Bermuda, because I see a few of those models. They look like they're going out there. Oh, but see how this is different from yesterday. So now you're beginning to see and maybe appreciate, even with the equations of motion, every model is going to have a different solution. That's enough to put gray hairs in any forecaster's head, much less the general public, because they go, I just want answers, right? I'm an accountant. Everything's black and white. It's debits and credits. Everything stays in this lane, and that's where it is. I get it. But life doesn't always work that way, does it? It doesn't. So in this case, spaghetti noodles be galore. You've got some of this mostly wanting to head towards South Carolina based on today's data. Now, yesterday, it looked like it was doing a little bit of a dance, which we're going to look at in the trivia question. But today, it could be South Carolina. Tomorrow, it could be Georgia or Daytona Beach. Do you see what I'm getting at? What's going to happen when it bounces back and forth between Cuba and the Bahamas? That will ultimately determine where this storm goes. Not the answer you probably want, but it's the honest answer I can give you as we head forward in time. Now, again, this is just today's data. My question to you, and some of you may have seen this when forecaster Derek Getter captured this and showed this at noon today. Let's see how participatory this crowd is tonight. What is it called when two tropical systems rotate around each other around a common center? Is it called a storm inversion, dual cyclones, or is it the Fujiwara effect? Any takers, any guessers? Let's see how many people are watching. I would love to know if you're watching live. You could just say A, B, or C. Let me know what you think, because I won't delay on this too much longer and see how things play out. I see a note from Ryan. This was probably a moment ago. I'm seeing Goose next Thursday, Friday. Pull some strings and send it out to sea. Yeah, I'm with you. I hope that it stays out to sea. I think Umberto is definitely going to stay out to sea for us. The question is, how close does the soon-to-be Imelda go? I got another note, maybe a guesser. Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody's not sure? I will wait and see. I'll give you 10 more seconds. I got a B from Taryn Bailey. Is that Taryn? Taryn says B, dual cyclones. Good guess. But that is actually not the correct answer. It is Fujiwara effect. And some would argue, and you can Google it to back me up, they think that maybe even Hurricane Helene was somewhat in that halfway Fujiwara effect. Not a full swing, but it's kind of like when there's two storms do-si-do together, where they could actually pull together. But that's what they call when they rotate around each other. Problem is today, that evidence doesn't seem as clear. It looks like it's just the opposite. They do part ways, and they part ways pretty quickly. But just to show you the timeline, when you see a storm in the light blue, the Carolina blue, it usually takes eight plus days to get here. Sometimes now we got what do we have? Umberto is in yellow, so that's 4 to 5 days. We're probably in that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame if we have some serious impact. I want to show you what this looks like. This is the unsettled end of the week. So we are getting rain. I already showed you with the Neptune Festival. But the rain that we get over the Neptune Festival is non-tropical. It's associated with this front. It's associated with a stalling feature that really, if you need more evidence, I'll show you. It just stops, right? It doesn't go anywhere. Now it turns red and blue, so it stalls. That takes you into Sunday. So my concern is for people to associate the rain we get this weekend as tropical. Not the case. Not the case. It's a setup, yeah, it's a setup, but even if this storm, and we're going to look at some examples, even if this storm in the Euro verifies, it would have potentially aims at today's data, Myrtle Beach, Wrightsville Beach. That's a possibility. That's where this would suggest it's going. You can clearly see not one but two. This is Umberto, but this is the one that's going to ping pong back and forth or pinball back and forth between the islands. And as it heads up towards Tuesday, it looks like it's a square hit on the chin of Myrtle Beach and Wrightsville Beach. Now, if that's the case, it could go right into western North Carolina, which, what comes to my mind is the 1-year anniversary to Helene. I mean, there's already PTSD for western North Carolinians with Helene. You get another storm, are you kidding me? If this were to verify, this is the Euro from today. If it were to verify, it would ultimately head toward western North Carolina. I was in Knoxville when this hit last year, and there was about 6 inches of rain around Knoxville, about double that around the Smoky Mountains, but there were 30 inches just northeast of Asheville. So the amount of rain and some of the cleanup and the recovery, they're still cleaning up in some cases. They haven't gotten to 100%. And to have another storm almost to the anniversary date, that'd be chilling. That's a news story. I can almost see it. Maybe you can too, if it verified. But I do want to go back to this storm because this is not going to necessarily happen. Right now, this is fantasy until it's not. It's fantasy until it's not because it's the model trying to figure out the ultimate solution. You can see Umberto here and there's Bermuda, but what ultimately happens is that storm goes bye-bye and races away. But this thing would have to spin. If we got Imelda, hypothetically, in the southeast, it's going to rain itself out. And that's going to be a lot of flooding and potential for tornadoes in Hampton Roads. That's not to be lost either, because you think about the fact that we would be on this other side of the center, we would have potential tornadoes, isolated spin-ups. Not a pretty situation. Nobody's rooting for this, right? Nobody roots for this in the weather community. There are people like get excited if they're in their basement all they want to look at this weather data. But if you got to live through it, you got to function through it, it's a nightmare. Nobody wants this. But I can tell you the GFS is an American model. It has a similar setup, and I'll pause it here. This would be Imelda. This would be Umberto. And if they were to dance together around the same center, then you would have what they call the Fujiwara effect. It's a fancy word, the Japanese term, but if it's not together, it's not together. And I will show you this. This also takes into South Carolina today. But tomorrow, I was explaining to the weather team today, but there I said, hey, this changed dramatically in 24 hours. It's going to change 24 hours again dramatically. So that tomorrow's data will be vastly different than Saturday's data and then Sunday's data. So that's why I say, unless you're within 2 or 3 days, it's too early to panic. And I don't want anybody to panic. Let's just know that there is the possibility that we're going to get a lot of rain. It could be a direct hit in South Carolina. And in that case, would you want to know about it? I'm just showing you some of the data tonight. And a lot of the rain would spill into Virginia Beach. Northeast North Carolina would benefit, or the side effect, we'd have torrential rain where it would be epic but as we get into a tropical or decaying tropical storm moving across parts of North Carolina and Virginia. Not a pretty scene, but a lot can change, a lot will change, and I encourage you to check back because it's really going to come down to the back and forth of this storm over the islands around this chaotic motion that I was referring to. Now we have Imelda next on the list, followed by Jerry, followed by Karen. It is now 7:59, probably a good time to stop and talk about pizza, because we know that in August we had only 2 days at 90. We've done better than that. We've doubled that for September when we hit 92 today. The record high was 94. We were just 2 degrees shy of 2010 and 1933. No record broken here, but it is interesting to note we've now had 4, count them, 4 days at 90 plus. All right, I know you've been patient. For some of you that are like, I'm just here for pizza, I'm just here for weather, whatever it is, I would be remiss if I don't at least set this up for us. So let me get the first map up here. There it is. Free Marco's Pizza for a year. I will get back to weather, I assure you. But I do want to thank my sponsor for being so generous, for giving away free pizza for a year. But first, I would be remiss if I didn't throw out some confetti. All right, the big winner for this week is Jesse Taylor of Virginia Beach. I don't know if Jesse Taylor's watching right now or if you know Jesse Taylor from Virginia Beach, but congratulations, Jesse. You just won free pizza for a year. That simply means you're going to have a certificate. It's already in the mail, headed to your way, and when it arrives, you can actually redeem it at any time at those 5 locations I was talking about, the 5 certificates, the 5 contest locations that you can see here. Any one of those locations will happily redeem the free pizza, but again, you'll be getting this certificate for a year. Want to say a special thanks to Jesse Taylor. Free pizza for a year for you, my friend. Virginia Beach is where Jesse is from. All right, well, we're not done here because we still have some other pizzas I want to give away, because this is the fun part, right? We got 10 individual pizzas. You might be the recipient, and my question to you is, are you going to share? Because if you share, you figure that way everybody gets to participate. You get a slice, you get a slice, but you can share it. I mean, there's no harm in, you don't want to be a hog and eat it all to yourself. Your spouse or significant other might want a slice. Who knows? But whether or not you won, let's get to those winners right now. The first 2, in no particular order, Allison St. Clair from Yorktown and Byron Goodwin from Suffolk. Now, the first thing that jumps off me on the page here are those towns. Yorktown, you might have to do a little bit of driving, Allison. Next time you're in Norfolk or perhaps Chesapeake or Virginia Beach, you could redeem your free pizza. But you have just won a 1-topping free pizza from Marco's. Love it. Byron Goodwin, same thing, Suffolk. Congratulations to you. You can redeem that as soon as you get it in the mail, because we have all your good information on in our system. So we now send that out to you by mail. Number 3 and 4. Would be Carol Britton in Chesapeake, in fact 2 Chesapeakes. Charles Lowe also won some free Marco's Pizza tonight. Congratulations to you. Look for that pizza certificate for you for 1 pizza to be arriving very, very soon. We can keep going. Number 5 and 6 in no particular order. Back to Yorktown, it looks like Danielle Sorrells. Congratulations to you, Danielle, as well as Marilyn Tatum in Norfolk. Congratulations to you. I got some notes there. And isn't it nice that people want to congratulate you? Joseph Green hasn't had his name on the list yet, but we'll see if he is on the number 7 or 8 list here. Let's keep going because I want to get back to the weather. This is what's amazing, is that we now have 6 and potentially first-time Marco eaters. Who knows? But number 7, number 8, Norman, Labrador, Chesapeake. Congratulations, Norman. I don't know if you're hungry. I'm getting hungry just looking at this pizza logo. But Patricia Miller in Virginia Beach, you have just won a free 1-topping pizza. These are individual pies, but I want to say congratulations to all of you. And number 9, number 10, to wrap things up here at 8:02 on a Thursday night. Very excited. I love Thursdays. Patty Westby of Virginia Beach. Wait a minute. I know Patty. No, I don't. No, I don't. But maybe that's your expression. Maybe you know Trina D. Banks from Newport News. Congratulations, Trina. Congratulations, Patty. You just won some free pizza, and I'm excited to be the one to share that good news with you. So when you get something in the mail, don't throw it away. No, don't throw it away, because you'd be silly. You'd be throwing food away. Don't do that. We're very excited about the pizza winner for the year. That would go to Jesse Taylor. Jesse's getting 12 pizzas. How is that possible? 12 once per month, right? We mentioned that. This is how it works. They'll get to punch card it, and you'll get 1 in October, 1 in November, right through August of 2026. So Jesse, this is the gift that just keeps on giving, because I know a lot of us like to eat out on occasion, and if I can save some money, if I can save you some money, then so be it. It's been a good day. So we'll get back to the pizza winners at the very end in case you miss it, but I gotta get back to the weather. We have some hot weather to say goodbye to. This was, in fact, summer's last hurrah with 8 above normal days so far, 17 below normal. It is 8:04. I want to show you some interesting rain numbers here. We picked up 4.25, but as you remember, it was on a Tuesday. We had this coastal system, didn't even have a name, and it had bigger impacts on Virginia Beach, for example, than did Aaron. Right? Aaron had a name, but sometimes it's the coastal storms with no name that can do just as much damage. So now that all that's been tabulated, we're now running, it's hard to believe, but we're still running 5 1/3 inches below normal for the year. 32.78 represents rain and melted snow combined for the entire year. And if you compare that to last year, we're running, well, we had 11.5 inches more last year, because last year we had 44.20 inches of rain and melted snow at the same calendar date. So if you compare apples to oranges, or apples to apples, the 25th of September, which is today, we're now running about 1/4 below normal for the month and 5 1/3 below normal for the year. Just like to show this for comparison, but the drought monitor came out today. It comes out every Thursday from NOAA, and because of that heavy rain that we had along the coast, a lot of the coloring disappeared, certainly in the heart of Southeast Virginia. We didn't see any coloring anymore. It's disappeared, but there's still a severe, or moderate drought, not severe, but moderate drought in Edenton and Ahoskie. They're colored in light brown. So some areas still could use some rain. I just point this out for comparison, but nothing here, nothing on the eastern shore in terms of drought concerns now. And of course, if we get anything tropical this week, meaning next week, obviously this is all going to be a moot point. But they still could use some rain in New England. I see some red areas up here. That's from New Hampshire, Maine, back toward Vermont, and also into parts of West Virginia. They've got some red areas in the mountains of West Virginia and back into West Tennessee, Western Kentucky. Not a whole lot of patches of color in East Tennessee, where I worked for 15 years, but it does show some signs of really bad dryness in parts of South Texas and in the Rockies and all the way up to Idaho, Montana, as well as Washington State. It is 8:06. Just wanted to show you where our storms are at the moment. If you have some questions, I'll go back and look at some comments as I try and fly through some of these graphics. I wanted to put as much in there in terms of content so that you could get what you need and have maybe some curiosities answered here. But we've got some thunderstorms popping up southeast of Raleigh. We'll need to watch them in the coming hours. And also as we move into the overnight, there could still be some pop-up showers and storms. It's muggy. Yes, I can tell you that. It is certainly muggy. I wanted to go back and check. We had a high temperature, as I mentioned, of 92, but it felt like 96 right around, say, 2 o'clock this afternoon. So 2 o'clock, it was 91 actual, the hourly, and felt like 96 because we've had a dew point as high as 70 today. So it's been very sticky, and when you look at dew points in the next 5 days, they're not going to drop much. So humidity, that's a common theme, and that puts us in the unpleasant territory for at least a few more days. I know it's not easy to take if you're sweating, but the current temperatures at 8:07 is 84. That's my expected high for tomorrow. 81 in Chesapeake right now. Pick out your favorite town. Suffolk 81, and we've got 76 in Poquoson, Kiptopeke 79, and it's 83 degrees right now in Moyock. I got some other notes from you. Kim is also wanting to say hello to congratulate all our winners. Thank you, Kim. I always appreciate when other people who, we can be happy for the winners. We're very happy for them, but not always do we win. But we do win at least half off our pizza. As I've mentioned before, this is the deal of the week. If you haven't figured this out, you can in fact get half off your pizza tonight. You get the full pizza, just half the price. All you need to do is have the remembering the promo code WTKR, that's our TV call letters, and the number 50, and you'll get everything you want off the bill, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot to choose from too, because you might want a Pozzoli, a pizza bowl, a sub, cheesy bread, wings, salad, desserts like Cinesquares. There are all sorts of goodies that you can get, and they all qualify for 50% off with that promo code. So I love that. Love the fact that Marcos is giving back. All right, we're going back to the temperatures. 83 right now in Edenton, 78 in Manio. You look in Knoxville, they're at 74, but it is hotter right now in Virginia Beach comparably at 82, while Charlotte right now is at 81 degrees. All right, so temperature outlook. First week of October, I see dew points coming way down. Way down. I said this yesterday. I'm going to double down on it. By the time we get into the first full week of October, I look for these dew points to drop into the 40s. 40s to me represents apple crisp. maybe hot cider or apple cider, pumpkin patch, pumpkin pie, whatever, or a hayride, right? When you're in the dew points in the 40s, it feels comfortable. That's coming, but it's going to still be very, very hot in the upper part of the country, meaning the upper Mississippi Valley may very well stay well above normal going into the 9th of October. Meanwhile, you can see the coolness in blue. It's cold enough to snow across parts of Canada. It tries to dip down toward Maine as we head into the first day of the month. But even here, it's not all that hot, not blazing hot. You can tell from the colors, but it will ebb and flow. I suspect that. And this represents October 5th, where it might actually be closer to the upper 70s. Meanwhile, Friday's planner. Tomorrow, there'll be a few showers as the sun's up at 6:56. I put this on here for your convenience. It sets now at 6:55 starting tomorrow night. But we have a good chance of getting to 84, and there'll be some hazy sun in there too. We could check mark that during the course of the day. It won't be overcast the entire day, but it means there's still a 60% chance we get some showers and storms tomorrow. Now, is this going to be the trend in the next 5 days? No, we're going back to the 70s. So it's going to settle back down to about normalcy, and normalcy about this time of year is about 79 degrees. So that is more typical. How about the Eastern Shore? Tomorrow, 78, Onancock, 78 for Saxis. If you're in Exmoor, Cape Charles, about 77 for you tomorrow. Heading to the Outer Banks, about 80 for Duck. Kill Devil Hills, 82 in Nags Head, 82. Manio, 83. And we slide down to Ocracoke and Hatteras, both temperatures in the lower 80s. Here's your Storm Prediction Center maps. Wanted to highlight again, we're still in that isolated threat for a portion, not everybody, but a portion of Hampton Roads tonight. And if you can see, this runs through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, so between now and daybreak, as I clear off the telestrator, there are some green spots back toward Tucson, Flagstaff, and just east of Las Vegas, Nevada. As we move into Charlotte, we have the potential for some isolated severe storms. We saw some storms firing up southeast of Raleigh. This extends up to the nation's capital between now and daybreak, and the Big Apple, Allentown, as well as Scranton, PA, and maybe parts of Connecticut. But really, it's kind of slices across parts of Hampton Roads, as you see illustrated for the severity possibility. On Friday, there's one little green patch, primarily in southeastern Arizona, back toward Tucson. Not a whole lot to see on the East Coast in terms of any severity, even though we have rain in the forecast, and there's zero color on Saturday, so we can skip that altogether. But this is what I'm seeing, at least at 11 o'clock tonight. I want to come back on camera because this is where things might happen when you're probably, if you're a light sleeper, say, I wish I had known that this was a possibility. But this shows a pretty vigorous storm coming up I-95 at 11 o'clock tonight. Not saying it will verify, but it shows there's enough forcing to suggest there could be showers at 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. You're like, well, that might wake me up, and I'm in Norfolk. Well, that might wake me up, and I'm in Cape Charles, or wherever you live, right? Fill in the blank. You know where you live. Maybe this doesn't affect you. Certainly doesn't look like it if you're in Duck or Elizabeth City or Hosky, but it certainly could affect you if you're in places like Smithfield, where that UPS driver had a very bad day today. And in Williamsburg, Exmoor, some of these showers could race in, race out, and then you're out the door tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Still the potential for a few showers. But you'll notice it doesn't look like it's overcast. It just call it partly sunny, right? We got more clouds than sun, but there will be some hazy sun thrown in. And then by the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock drive home, it fills in places that didn't get as much rain, like Duck, like Nags Head, and perhaps over towards, say, Dare County, down toward Manio and Wanchese. And even still, tomorrow night, the fire's up again over toward Edenton. You could see some red thunderstorms popping up there in the red area. Might be more vigorous storms, and then it starts to weaken after the sun sets. But the showers will still be with us even on Friday night. So that may not be the news you want to hear, but that's why I say it's kind of like a lather, rinse, and repeat situation. What about Saturday morning? You know, there's a lot going on with the sand sculpting, and I wanted to just point this out because there is, in fact, on Saturday from 11:30 to 1 is the Grand Parade. And the Grand Parade may very well be okay. It just looks mostly cloudy, a couple of showers, right? It doesn't rain the whole day. I don't want to suggest it will, but I think there's at least a 70% chance we do get showers during the course of Saturday because that fills in at 2 o'clock. Maybe it's in Virginia Beach, maybe it's not. But the point is, if you have the umbrella with you, you'll be thankful you have it, and you can see it blows up like so at 5 o'clock, and maybe it misses Virginia Beach. Wouldn't that be a blessing? But again, showers from Williamsburg back toward the west, back toward Sussex County, Surrey County, and so it goes. That represents 11 o'clock on Saturday night. So it's going to be all non-tropical rains this weekend. Next week, early next week, Monday to Tuesday, we have to wait and see. Obviously, we want to watch it every hour going into the weekend, but we'll wait and see before we make any drastic decisions. But in these types of situations, sometimes people don't have a lot of time to prepare. That's why we always advocate at the beginning of the season, like in May. Hey, do you have enough baby wipes? Do you have enough diapers? Do you have enough medication? Do you have this? Before there's any lines for anything, it's always good to have an emergency kit, always have plans and contingencies ready to go. 68 for the peninsula, 72. Fog doesn't look all that bad. It looks like 11 o'clock, there might be some low clouds, but outside of that, I think tomorrow morning should be a mainly fog-free situation. We'll have some clouds. Tonight's lows, 71 in Virginia Beach, 71 in Hampton, 70 in Suffolk, and overnight lows should drop down to about 68 in Melfa, 73 Corolla, 74 in Nags Head. Friday afternoon, though, low to mid-80s will be commonplace. I think we've got a good chance to make it to 84, but again, that's about 8 degrees cooler than it was today when we hit 92 degrees. Now, 82 for Suffolk, 82 for Hampton, about 80 for Duck and Virginia Beach, and about 77 for Cape Charles. And my highs expected on Friday are as follows. 88 for Hertford, 85 for Moyock, and 81 for Smithfield come tomorrow. I'm just looking at the comments. Some of you are on here. I'm very thankful for all of you. Let's see here. Annette's asking some questions about, I missed the code for 50% off market. It's real easy. It's our call letters, Annette, and I hope that help you. So I'll put that on the screen real quick. It's WTKR 50. Anybody who within the sound of my voice, and it's okay to share this. There's nothing taboo, but you have to be mindful that there's only 5 locations that will redeem that at 50% off. If you go to other Marcos around the country or other Marcos, it's not going to work. These are the 5 that are participating in not only the free pizza, but the 50% off. I hope that helps. All right, highs tomorrow, 82 in Nags Head. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast, 78 Saturday, 76 on Sunday. Not a washout. I know when you see probabilities above 50%, 60, 70, even 80%, you start to panic and think, oh my goodness, it's a washout. This is when we'll watch for potential tropical moisture, is that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Depending on and where this storm, we'll call it Imelda. Let's just be forward thinking. Let's assume Imelda gets a name tomorrow and we get a hurricane named Umberto tomorrow. That'll strengthen. But Tuesday, Wednesday would be the time that we would be most concerned with potential, maybe some isolated tornadoes, depending on track, it depends on where we are, depends on where the center of circulation is. But all of it is significantly uncertain at this time. I can't emphasize that enough. The significance of the uncertainty on this day, because today's Thursday, right? You're talking about something Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 5 days. It's a lot. In weather, that's an eternity. I know it doesn't seem like that, but you're not going to predict a snowstorm 5 days in advance with high precision. You could try, you could shoot from the cuff, maybe swing for the fences, but you're not necessarily going to nail precisely where this thing hits and at what time. It is about timing and track. And we're going to fine tune it for you, but we just have to ask for your patience because this system hasn't formed yet. It hasn't even formed yet. We're already expecting full results, full clarity. It's not always there. Sometimes Mother Nature doesn't always provide that. But periods of rain, I do see wherever this thing goes that we're likely to see some vast improvement in a week. A week? I know it's 6 days of rain opportunities, but it's there, and I just wanted to throw that out there. It is now 8:17. I thought I would end on something happy. Please, Aldrich, give me some good news. How about this beautiful picture from Michael? Virginia Beach sunset. It's like a blue, right? Sunset blue. Love that. And then you've got sunset orange from Lisa. Lisa shares this with us from our WTKR photographers page. That does lift your mood, I hope. And look at this. Bradley always stepping up with a beautiful picture. And this is in Hampton along the Chesapeake Avenue waterfront. Bradley Fullwood, thank you for sharing that beautiful picture with us as we like to see what's going on. And I want to see really before we go to break, before I sign off, because I'll be back on at the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock news. Our team will be here and I'll be here at 11. But just want to show you there are some thunderstorms now crossing over I-95 and moving into perhaps parts of our viewing areas. So just take note, there are some thunderstorms. Some of them could be strong, but we'll be watching that throughout the rest of the night. And again, your first warning forecast on the screen, 80s tomorrow. Ultimately, in about 7 days, we'll be back with highs in the 60s. Oh my goodness, that's a big change. I hope you're ready for it. By the way, if you haven't heard, we're giving away free pizza. But wait a minute, I thought you already gave it away. I did, but next week we're doing it again. Oh yes, all you have to do is sign up, go to WTKR, that's our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos. Every Thursday, we give away 12 pizzas to one individual and 10 individual pies to individual people. So that's 22 pizzas, like we did today. And these are the 5 locations that are participating. We'd love to have you participate. Even if you didn't win tonight, you do get half off your order. And that will last right through Saturday. So you could do it tonight, you could do it tomorrow, you could do it on Saturday. But you'll get 50% off if you use this promo code at the checkout. It'll happen instantaneously. I love that. And there's also the Pozzoli. It's like a calzone. It's like a stromboli. That's one of my favorite items. Pepperoni and sausage. You can get a ranch cup or a pizza cup like marinara. Really good. The Magnifico is fantastic too. There's so many different options you can consider, but I would encourage you to definitely check it out. And we want to thank our friends at Marcos for being so generous. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, I've said a lot, but hopefully if I put 10 pounds of information in a 5-pound bag or something like that. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. We'll see you here. Just a programming note, I am off on Monday. I am here in spirit, but I'm off on Monday. So First Warning Live will continue on Tuesday. Of course, you're in good hands with the rest of our WTKR First Warning weather team. And I will have more updates for you throughout the weekend with updates. So even though I'm not live streaming, you'll get updates from yours truly. I very much appreciate you. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or if it's serious. And some people would say it's borderline serious. Whatever the situation is, remember every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. So make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here next week. Take care.